Hello and welcome to Julie Hall Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to create this fantastic doorstop in your embroidery hoop. What you'll see is that this is a four-sided doorstop and I've got a handle on there as well. You can fill it with either rice or with sand, whatever suits your own purpose. And I've decorated mine for the Christmas season. Just something sweet to have at the front door when visitors come and see you at Christmas. So let's get started on creating this design. Okay, so as you can see, here I have hooped my tearaway stabilizer and my scrap of denim. Now, the only thing that I've done wrong in this fabric selection is my denim has a little bit of a stretch to it. So I'm ignoring that a little bit, and what I'm going to do is after I've done all of the embroidery, I'm going to back it with a interfacing before I put all of the pieces together. But what I've got threaded up at the moment is a wash away thread, and I love using wash away threads when I am stitching the outline of something. So our first colorway is to stitch out our stitching line, and by doing it in a wash away thread, it means that if I am not millimeter perfect, you won't be seeing those seams. And I only use the wash away thread on the top. Now, I'm going to stitch the next stitch with wash away thread as well, just because I want to show you exactly where we are going to be placing the mylar. So the second colorway is just going to show you the actual shape of our snow globe. When you are working with wash away thread, remember to store it in a Ziploc bag. Last thing you want to do is let it get wet in the elements or mix it up with another thread. This is not what you want to sew your clothing up with. So I am using a thread colour that is the same colour as my background fabric because I want it to blend in. And then I'm going to take my mylar and lay it over, and I actually only want the circle, so if I needed to save my mylar and actually that's what I might do, I might just come through and you hold that mylar in place while the stitching begins. So using the same colour as the background just keeps everything as subtle as possible. And all I'm doing here is just holding the mylar down so that it doesn't buckle. And you can see already the beautiful colours that are coming forward with that. Okay, so now that you can see, we've done all of the background and it looks like our snow globe has been shook. So next we start adding in the detail. Now the one that I'm making today is the snowman, but remember there are 4 different designs in this collection, all ready to go onto your doorstop. So I come through and we're going to do the snow at the bottom and the snowman himself. Once we've done that, we're going to finish the snowman off with arms, a nose and face details, and a scarf. So now we've finished our major stitching, I just want to pull my hoop forward for a little bit, and what I'm going to do is remove the excess mylar there. Now you can take the mylar off any time after the second set of stitches. And you can see how gorgeous the snow globe there is looking. I do need to do a little bit of trimming on my snowman, but I'll do that once I've removed it from the hoop. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to come through, and we've already got the outline here of where we are going to place our applique fabric. I'm using a red applique fabric, and I'm just going to pop that down. You'll see better from here. So lay it over the outline and let colorway, on this design colorway 9, lead you. And then what I want to do is just trim away that excess. Now you all know how much I love my curvy scissors. And then we're going to do the writing on it next, which in this case is the words "Let It Snow," and each snow globe has its own special saying on it. Some of them are in French, some of them are in English. I don't know why I keep on trying this, because it hasn't worked all day for me. But there's just something that says you have to try and use what you've got there. Okay, so as I said, the words here are going to be let it snow. Now the only reason mine may not be trimming between, and in the same way as I did it with the eyes here, is because I've set this machine to not trim anything that is smaller than, say, a 6 or 7 millimeter jump stitch. Okay, so our writing is done. The next step is to do the satin stitch around that applique fabric. So I'm going to go back to my red. And you can see that that's a lovely satin stitch that's covering the bottom of the snow globe. Okay, and we are up to the last stitch, and the last stitch is totally your choice, but to go with the glittery look, I am doing mine in metallic thread, and my metallic thread of preference is always going to be the King Star metallics. They are the metallics that we sell, and the reason that I like them is because they are just so good. They don't seem to shred and do all the ugly stuff that so many other metallics do. So you'll notice there that I haven't changed my needle or anything else. So it's a standard 1175 needle that I'm using. I haven't even changed my speed. I'm stitching on a standard 600 stitches a minute. I'm loving how this is looking. I can see through the monitor that you guys are actually able to see that shimmer come across here in the lighting, and in person it's even more elegant and beautiful. When I was looking for what fabric to use for this particular project, I didn't want to use a standard cotton because it's a doorstop. It's going to get dirty. And I actually thought about going out and getting some heavy twill curtaining style fabric. And then my next thought was, why am I spending money when I've got some denim here? And I can just see this at my door. I'm loving the idea of it and can't wait to put it at the door. And I think I'm going to use it as a, how can I say, I think I'm going to use it as a encouragement for my husband. We got a new door about 2 or 3 years ago, and neither of us, let's be totally honest, neither of us have painted that door yet. But at our previous house, we painted our door, and my husband did it for me because he knows how much I love that British thing of having the gloss coloured door. He gave me the red door of my dreams. So I'm thinking that these little red bits here are going to tie in perfectly with our idea of a new door. And ta-da! So what I've got here is my finished design, and I just need to fix the other 3 designs, and then I'll show you what we do next. So let's move over to the workbench. So now that all of the blocks have been created, all I'm going to do is come through and using a 1/4 inch seam, I am going to trim all the way around my design. That 1/4 inch seam will also give you your 1/4 inch stitching line once we are putting this together. So what you can see here is my bollock is completed. The next thing that I need to do is I need to measure, and for instance the top of my doorstop is going to be 4 3/8 of an inch. So I need 1 square of denim that is 4 3/8 of an inch. I need another square which is 5 5/8. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to finish trimming all of these blocks, and then we can look at putting them together. And now we are up to the stitching part. So all I'm going to do is fold 2 of the side pieces together, and stitch them with a 1/4 inch seam. So I hold those two pieces together and stitch with a 1/4 inch seam. And we are going to repeat that all the way around. Now, this is why we used a wash away thread, because what we are going to do once we've finished our project is run a Q-tip along there, and it is going to remove all of that extra thread that we don't want lying around. Now, to make it easier, use some clips. And we'll do the last one. It's amazing how much I've gotten used to using clips instead of pins over time. And I'm just finding that the clips make things so much simpler. Now, once you have your strip, I'm then just going to join it around so that it is all one large, not quite rectangle, but one large joined shape. Now, at the same time, I've taken I'd say it's about 8-inch piece strip of fabric, 3 inches wide, and I'm just going to stitch it up, and it is going to form my handle, my doorstop. Because I need to turn it inside out, I'm going to come along and stitch across the bottom there as well. Okay, let me go and turn these inside out and press our panel, and I'll come back and show you what we're up to next. So what we have here is my box with all of my embroidery. I've got my handle and I've got my top piece of fabric. So now what I want to do is start placing these pieces inside each other, handle first. And I am actually going to have to use some pins because it is just necessary when you're looking at a fiddly setting. But all we are going to do is start by pinning this fabric around the inside. Sorry, I do realize I went off there and you couldn't see. Now, the way that I generally work is from side to side. So if I then come in to the second side, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch along those two sides first before I come and repeat myself on the third and fourth sides. And now you can see those first two seams are done. What I do want you to take notice of is that we have only stitched to the 1/4 inch point. So we've only stitched till the point of these two meet. And that is going to make doing these rows a lot easier. So repeat the process with rows 1 and 2, and we'll come back and see what we've got. Okay, so now I can turn the entire project right side out, and obviously it needs a little bit of ironing, and ironing solves most things in life. But what you can see, and I'm just going to make this a little bit clearer, is I've got my 4 panels and I'm ready to put the bottom panel on. What I'm going to do is I'm actually only going to sew up half of the bottom panel so that it can then be stuffed with bags of sand. And the bags of sand are what's going to turn it into the doorstop. So let me add that bottom panel. So what you can see here is my completed doorstop now. When I've stuffed the doorstop, I have placed rice into Ziploc bags, and I've placed the bag in the doorstop and then I've added the rice in. Once the doorstop was as stuffed as I wanted it to be, I've then come through and I have hand stitched the last 2 sides of the doorstop closed, and I think you'll agree it's been a wonderful project. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and I look forward to bringing you another one. Until next time, have a stitching day. Bye.